Hi everyone, I'm Claire. I'm going to show you my process for drawing and colouring my Earth Guardian, which is going to be based around the element of wind. I've just got some standard paper that I'm going to be drawing on, and I usually get started in pencil. One of the pencils I'll be using is a standard B lead. This one's reasonably soft, a little bit softer than an HB. You can use an HB pencil as well if you like. This one here's a black wing. It's one that I like to do my outlines in. It's just a little bit darker than the B pencil. And I usually do my sketching in a Colorase pencil. It's a colour pencil that can be erased. They're a bit harder to get a hold of, but if you go really lightly with a colour pencil, you can use that too. With erasers, I have a standard eraser you can get pretty much anywhere. And then I also have a kneadable eraser, which is nice and squishy. And these ones allow you to get into smaller areas, and it also allows you to take a lot of the pencil off the paper and use just the outline that's left behind. So you can squish it. It's really, really handy. Okay. So when I get started, I like to draw what's called an action line. Thinking about wind flow and gusts of wind, I wanted something that was quite curvy, generally just an S-shaped line. I'm thinking in my mind that I'm going to draw something with 4 legs, maybe a dragon or something like that. So I'm starting out by using circles along that line just to build shapes, thinking about where the head is going to be, where the shoulders and the torso is going to be, and where the hind legs are going to be. So I'm just really playing with these circular shapes and just blocking out my character. You can see that I'm also using the side of the pencil as opposed to holding a pencil normally. This just allows me to be a bit freer with my shapes, and it means that I don't have a really hard line that I have to erase later. I'm going to go over this several times just to clean up everything. Here I've changed my pencil grip and I'm going in for something that's a little bit more precise. This would just be holding a pencil normally. But now that I've already got kind of my outline organized on the page, I can start to draw into that and work out more details as I move along. I pretty much go through the process of outlining my character a few times and refining as I go. I'm not too worried about making mistakes or redrawing lines over and over because I know that I'm going to go back over it again. It's a good process for getting more comfortable drawing lines, and it really helps you to develop a steadier hand when you start to draw later on. So just refining and refining over and over again. Definitely got a better shape here now. I've got all of her paws in there, and I'm starting to think about shapes that kind of fly off in the wind and working with that original action line that I'd already drawn. Now I'm going to go in again with another Colorase pencil. This one's a blue one. And this one just shows you the outlines a little bit more clearly. This way I can really define the line, and I know I've made some more decisions that are more final. So I'm really going in with the details now, just drawing over and over again on the same drawing, just getting darker and darker as I go. Adding in details at this point is a really good idea. These are ones we can use when we colour later. Cool. Okay, now I've got my entire drawing. I'm going to rip that out of my drawing pad. And as you can see, it's quite a light paper, so I'm going to put that under a clean sheet on top. And now I'm going to draw over it. You can see it through the other side, so I'm going to trace it. Now you can also stick your drawing to a window and use that as a light box to do exactly the same thing. Or if you do have a light box, you can use that as well. Just make sure you use masking tape, not ordinary tape, otherwise it's going to get hard to get off the window. So now I've got my black wing pencil or my softer pencil, and I'm just going to draw some outlines. Once again, if I've made a different decision or I've decided to make something a little bit tidier, as I've done with the fur tufties, I will do that at this point as well. Because I've drawn the character several times over now, I've gotten a really good feel for how it moves and flows and all the little details in it. Now I'm just adding in some details that I think will be cool, some little stripes, just to make her a little bit more cat-like, kind of like a dragon cat. Now I can use pencil to shade this one if I want to, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it under another piece of paper, ta-da, and I might ink it. This is a brush pen. I got this from the French art store in Wellington. It's got a flexible tip, so when I push harder, I get a thicker line. When I remove my hand quickly, I get a nice point on the end. Now I'm going to speed this up, so I'm actually going a lot faster than I'd normally be inking. I usually go quite slow. It is good to try and vary how fast you are inking. You might find that when you draw a line fast, you get a smoother line, whereas if you draw it slowly, it's going to be a little bit wobbly. I'm also going to try out another pen here. I've got a standard felt pen, like a normal inking pen, a pigment marker. Its size is 3-point. I'm left-handed, so I sometimes get a little bit of trouble trying to get the angle correct so that the ink flows nicely, but I usually find I sort that out after a while. It also means that you can't often see the ink underneath my hand until I move my hand, but when I draw with my other hand, the results aren't usually that good. They're interesting, but they're not good. So you can see this one is a much flatter line. There's no tapering in it. It is what it is. And this is really good if you want to go in and do some hatching or cross-hatching to show where darker areas are. So I'm just hatching the inside of her mouth, so you can see it's dark in there. And that's just drawing little straight lines, as straight as I can, just to fill in some areas. You can also use this to do a lot of your detailing work. So you can see using the two pens is not really too weird. It actually looks kind of cool. And now I'm just going to do some cross hatching. I'm just drawing little lines and then going in a different direction and drawing some more lines. You can also layer those lines to make the area even darker. There we go, just creating shadow, drawing in some of those tufties, and just basically creating a nice inked outline that I can later go in and color if I want to. You can also leave it like this if you just want to do a black and white image. I think I might just do some detail on maybe half of this just to show you what you can do. But I think what I might do later is actually color them up. So as you can see here, I've made another tracing of my character, this time using the B pencil. So it's a little bit harder than the other pencil that I was using. And what I'm also going to do is grab my kneadable eraser and I'm just going to roll it gently over the top of the image. And this is going to take off any of the excess lead that will be on the image after I've drawn it. So that means I'm not going to smudge it very much with my hand. If you don't have a kneadable eraser, you can also use a standard eraser. Just make sure it's very clean. Mine isn't, but yours will be, I'm sure. And just very lightly brush it past the drawing. You only want to take off a little bit of pencil lead off the top, so you're not going to make any streaks. Now what I'm going to do is I have some Copic markers. You've got Copic markers, Pro markers, felt tip pens. There are all sorts of different types of markers. I just happen to like these ones quite a lot because they're very light and they're very easy to layer. So I'm going to go with some blue colours or blue-green colours to go with my air element or wind elemental creature. I've chosen a light bluish green and a shade that's a little bit darker, and then I've got another mid-tone. That'll do. With Copics or markers that you're going to layer, I usually like to start with the lightest colour first. But before you do anything, just make sure you test your markers on a similar sheet of paper. And you've got to let them dry as well, because they will dry a little darker than you see them when you're painting. So now I'm just painting in the details, going over the creature's muzzle and paws, and basically just filling in with that blue-green colour. So now I'm layering with the bluer colour over the top. I could have waited for the blue-green colour, the first colour, to dry a little bit more, but with these kind of markers, it's okay to work what we call wet and wet. So the colours kind of mix together a little bit like watercolour. The idea is to get a nice smooth blend or transition between them. I'm also using the white of the paper as a colour in itself. So I don't feel that I have to fill in the entire character. It's just the areas that would normally have maybe patterning or colouring on them. So the end of the tail, the line down the back, on the head, on the paws, that sort of thing. And definitely around the eyes. We want to draw attention to the eyes. Maybe the nose as well, but that's just because I like noses. So one thing you could do if you didn't have markers, you can make a similar effect with watercolor, but you might need to trace your image onto paper that's thicker than the paper that I'm using. You can do that by tracing over a window, like I explained before. Now I'm going to go in with some colored pencils. I've laid down my markers almost a little bit like a wash, and now I'm going to use these pencils to bring out some of the details. So I'm just making my color selections, thinking about the colors that might look good on a character like this. Blues are a definite, and I'm going to use the darker blue as an outlining color. A little bit of gray, and then some purple just to add a little bit of warmth to the image. So now I'm just picking out the areas that I really want to draw attention to. The eyes, some of the areas around the head. I'm being quite loose as I follow the lines, not being too precise. That way I get this nice kind of flowy effect where you can see I'm pressing a bit harder, the pencil gets darker, and then I let go a little bit and we get these nice kind of pencil flicks and tapered ends. I never fill in one complete area at once. I usually do a few lines, see how I feel about that, and then try again somewhere else. It just helps me make better decisions for my line work, what I want to do with my colors, and just to see if the drawing is working how I want it to work. Now working in with the purple, just to touch up a few areas, give it a bit of warmth, give it a bit of definition. And now I've got a white pencil, a very light grey pencil here actually, and I'm running that over some of the darker areas. It just helps the colour settle. It's something called burnishing, which means that you kind of press the pigment of the pencil into the paper a little bit more and make it set almost. Using grey to outline some of the claws, outline the line a little bit more strongly. The last touch is to do a few lines to show wind flow or airflow, just to tie the character back into its element. And there you have it.